Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP Morning Show.
Olá Bom Dia ALEGRIA, Munson here with the Good Morning Portugal show, live stream and podcast. Tudo bem? Como está? How are you today? Do let me know. Coach Turner in early. He's in the country as well. Look, Bom Dia Gumpers. E feliz terça. Terça-feira, of course, today, Tuesday. We're in sunny Setúbal and looking forward to a galão and a nata. Oh, very good. How are you going to be eating it, more importantly? John Heimbach is joining me a little bit later on, is a convert to the new style, as the Beastie Boys used to say. Look, with a spoon. Will you be doing that, Coach Turner, or will you be picking it up and stuffing it in your gob, which is the other favoured way of many in the, well, not only in the Gumper community, but right across Portugal. It really has ruffled a few feathers, the suggestion to eat with a spoon, and it is what a lot of my Portuguese friends seem to do. There are some mitigating factors which we might go into with John a little bit later on. And we've got António Barbosa, some Tony time. Is he going to be moist in the Minho this morning? Let's find out when Tony joins us at around 8:20. I've got a little bit of a video preview, actually, a lovely, let's use one of Tony's videos this morning to illustrate the fabulous culture that we have here in Portugal. And he'll tell us more about it when he arrives at 8:20. The only slightly negative thing, says Coach T, about Setúbal is finding somewhere to park. Setúbal, a victim of its own success, perhaps, there. Very popular, and was one of the picks of Peter van Noonen of the Portugal Company when he chose his 5 hotspots last week. Was it last week or the week before? My goodness. And this week, of course, on the Expats Portugal webinar, it'll be Philomena returning first Thursday of the month. Portuguese language and culture with Philomena, expressing gratitude, apologies, and more Portuguese etiquette. And I think that's going to be, as usual, very interesting. So let's crack on, shall we, with the Bom Dia Daily news, weather, the language and culture, and a bit of well-being to a first aid course to tell you about today. So let's get on with that in anticipation of Tony and John joining us this morning. T-Duck in as well. Bom Dia ALEGRIA Gumpers. Good morning to you, T-Duck. And Jacqueline Branco. Bom Dia. Hello, Jacqueline. How are you? I'm not sure if I ever wished you a buono. Is it okay to do that on the 4th of February? I wonder. I hope you're well. And any news from you, local news, Silver Coast news, Jacqueline Branco, very gratefully received. Seemed a bit slow this morning. There was a late night here in the Munson household after the wine club last night. Very good. A really good showing of different types of single grape wines. We had Toriga Nacional, we had Syrah, we had Castelão, we had the Loureiro, Vinho Verde grape, Merlot. It was really good, and quite by accident as well. So Portugal again showed itself, gave a great account of itself in the single grape wines for under a tenner, way under a tenner for a lot of them as well. So great fun. Thank you, Wine Ninjas, for that, and the Portuguese. That was good fun. The new time, 7 o'clock on a Monday evening with the Portuguese. He was talking about tariffs last night, and funnily enough, we had quite a few tariff experts on in the chat as well. Right, let me just share with you then my news pick of the morning. Rec check, I'm calling this. This is from Euronews. It's nice to go a bit further beyond the likes of the Portugal Resident and the Portugal News. I've just filed my story. This just before coming on air, sent it into the editor for publication this week. Oh, Dan Thompson just popping in before I go to the news there. Bom dia. We were finally able to register for an A1 Portuguese language class. Very happy. Muito feliz. Very good. Hey, good luck with that. Let us know how it goes, Dan, if you will. Right. This story then, shipwrecks and the amount of, is it called, I hesitate to say it, but booty, when pirates are talking about booty, they're talking about treasure, aren't they? And not backsides. I'm thinking this is the backside of the earth in many ways. The territorial waters of Portugal are strewn. There's a good word. Are strewn with treasure. So let's have a look at what they're saying here at Euronews. Around 250 treasure-laden shipwrecks may lie in Portuguese waters, expert says. Uh-oh. An expert is saying this. Let's find out what we make of this. We're all. Is anyone here an expert in hidden treasure, as well as virology, climate, tariffs, etc., etc.? An archaeologist believes that around 250 shipwrecks with lost treasures may be hidden in Portuguese waters, but they're left unprotected due to a lack of government intervention. No one likes to be unprotected in the first thing in the morning. An underwater archaeologist, which conjures up a picture, to me anyway, of a man in a tweed suit, thoroughly soggy on account of being underwater. Anyway, Alexandre Monteiro, he's talking about the coastal areas of mainland Portugal and the waters around the Azores and Madeira, of course. Did you notice the Randy Levine yesterday, the outgoing ambassador, definitely called the Azores the Azores? Anyway, we'll talk about them more in this article. Alexandre Monteiro, a researcher from Nova University in Lisbon, revealed his findings, which are based on a detailed database he compiled of shipwrecks dating back to the 1500s. It's exciting stuff, isn't it? And this is also when we find out who among us has a PADI. Is it a certificate or training or qualification to go diving? I suppose snorkeling, scuba diving, a little bit different to this deep sea business that we're talking about here, dating back to the 1500s anyway, when historical records became available. I've documented around 7,500 wrecks along the mainland coast, 1,000 near the Azores, and 120 near Madeira. He told Portuguese you say it, man. He told Portuguese news agency Lusa. Monteiro estimates that roughly 250 of these wrecks contain lost treasures. Cue music. Have we got some spooky music to go along with that? I know, for instance, that off the coast of Troia, close to home, down there in the Margem Sul, right, going a bit further south than Bobby O'Reilly, there's a Spanish ship from 1589 called Nossa Senhora de Rosario. That was one of the wines last night as well, actually. I've investigated its history. This is not me speaking. This is Professor Monteiro. He has investigated the history of the Nossa Senhora de Rosario and even knows the name of the captain's mother. Wow. Official records show it carried 22 tons of gold and silver. Har! When asked if shiver me timbers, right? Shiver me waterlogged timbers here. When asked if the government is aware of this information, Monteiro said the details have been published, but no action has been taken. We know there are 250 treasure ships, and sooner or later, a construction project or something similar will uncover one of them. There's no contingency plan to protect such discoveries, he warned. It's all right as soon as something gets discovered, like, what was it, bats or Roman bridges under construction projects. The work stop and the government will figure out what to do. There's no contingency plan, however, no plan. Monteiro also dismissed the risk of treasure hunters raiding these sites, explaining, well, that's unlikely as most of the wrecks are buried under sand. That's a bit of a damp squib ending, I have to say. And apologies for the picture of the enlarged prostate. And my goodness, what are they trying to share with me this morning over at Euronews? An interesting advert selection. Enlarged prostates and tracksuits. That definitely my look, isn't it? Okay. Album, that looks good. Album anniversaries, 3 records to celebrate in February 2025. Don't recognize any of those album anniversaries there. Anyway, least said about that, the better, in my view, these blooming adverts that come up. Anyway, that's thanks to Euronews there. That is your rec check for this morning. Should we have a look at some weather? Oh, what's that? João Ernesto got a pastel de nata ready to demonstrate this morning. Morning to you as well, Hugh. Tell a friend that we're here, everybody. This morning, let's have a look at our weather, shall we? We've got a nice Bon Dia Daily deal for you as well. 10% off rentals. That's what you call them. We call them car hire in the UK. You call them rentals, don't you, in the US? B-Rent will give you 10% off with a special code. Come back to that a little bit later on. And a first aid course as well to tell you about. And in about 10 minutes, we've got João Ernesto do Norte, and we'll find out how he's getting on with the health situation that John had. But I think he's doing well, which is great. And have you got your results, Mr. S? Not from the clinic. Have you got your results from your examination, your language examination. Let's be very clear about this. Your language examination, you were a little bit disgruntled, I think, to say the least, yesterday, but it sounds as though Sipple, or Capel, as you put it here, Zippel, I think, acknowledged their mistake. Phew! Right, the rage has subsided. No, I haven't. Oh, so you haven't got your results, but you have had an acknowledgement of the mistake made by the exam board. Well, that's some progress right there, is it not? So well done on that, Mr. S. Let's have a look at the Bon Dia Daily weather then, shall we? See what's going on. Beautiful day yesterday. I took the most incredible picture of the sunshine yesterday. I'm just reminded of that now. Absolute stonking sunshine yesterday. Really nice. It was too hot. Yesterday, it was really beautiful. It was the first day I can remember for ages where the sun did feel very hot on the skin, and I was able to take the most extraordinary photograph, as though another reality was. It wasn't because I'd eaten a bad prawn or had a funny mushroom. But check out this picture here of the sun that I took to send to somebody, of course, because that's what you do. When the sun starts shining, you stop moaning about the rain here in Portugal, and you send some pictures of the sunshine to whoever you think might be pleased to see them, or not, as the case may be. For me, it's often the Portuguese. Look at that. Just held my camera up. Didn't really compose anything because I couldn't see anything with that bright sunshine in my face, and ended up with this. I suppose that's literally an optical illusion, isn't it? That's the way that the light has hit the lens in the camera and created that rather splendid, laser-like split in the sky. It's a sort of thing, isn't it, that if your eye did that, maybe to our ancestors, if they chanced upon the sun and looked up into the sky and saw something like that, they could be forgiven for thinking they were seeing an angel right there. So yeah, nice picky there. Where was it? Weather. Yeah, let's go to the weather and have a look at what's going on. And yes, so good sunny day yesterday. The weather forecast came up trumping with that yesterday, did it not? So difficult, choice of words these days, isn't it? Right, where are we? I'm not trying to upload another picture. I'm trying to bring to you the weather page, and I will, I tell you. Okay, let's have a look. Here we go. The Good Morning Portugal weather page, the Spartan FX weather, and it's at 7 degrees. In Lisbon at the moment, and I'll put it on the screen so that you can see that as well. And have you got a request? Where are you, Mr. S? Would you like to have personalized weather? I can't do it on a village granular level, but I can definitely do it in your district if you'd like me to do that this morning. So we've got Lisbon at 7 degrees, rising to 15. Bit cloudy, not as sunny as yesterday, but the sun shall return tomorrow. The weather people say. Porto, 7 degrees at the moment, rising to 13. Good morning to you, Lonnie, and thank you for your help on the new Portugal resident article. Coimbra, 9 degrees, overcast at the moment, a bit cloudy, and will remain so today with a high of 16. Sun returning tomorrow in Coimbra, rising to 17 as well. That's nice, isn't it? Looking forward to those 20-plus degree days here in Portugal. Not long now, folks. Faro, 8 degrees, rising to 14. Sunny day. It's sunny at the moment in Faro, actually. Might be a bit cloudy a little bit later on, and sunny again tomorrow with 16 the high. Tomorrow, that is. Braga, 8 degrees, overcast clouds, 14 degrees the high today. And a little bit of a cloudy week up in the north. A little bit more sunshine tomorrow than today. And I'm going to have a look at Leiria. That's my local weather. 8 degrees, overcast with clouds. That looks about right as I cast a glance into the garden and above the garden into the skies. 12 degrees. No, 15 degrees. Sorry, I'm looking at Porto Alegre there. 15 degrees centigrade is the high today. Currently 8. And it'll be sunny again tomorrow, Wednesday. Very nice. Looking forward to that. Oh, and the men's shed. The men's shed every Wednesday now. We had a crisis meeting. The San Martino. Oh, there you go. There's the weather. And if you want your moving currency guide from Spartan FX, just send them an email, gmp@spartanfx.co.uk, and get your free copy of Moving Money to Portugal. Their guide, absolutely free to you. gmp@spartanfx.co.uk. Yeah, the men's shed, a bit of a forming, norming, and storming issue. It's a great initiative. Well done, Josh, and all the fellas who are involved here in San Martino de Porto with that. And it just kind of, I don't know, it's got a bit loose and flabby, like many of the men in the men's shed, quite frankly. However, and I don't mean that in a bad way, although that's quite a difficult thing to have uttered and defend. Anyway, I will apologize to them personally on Wednesday. The gathering will take place every Wednesday now, so that we don't have this, is it on this Wednesday or not? Every Wednesday at the cocktail bar, where the party will be on the 15th of February. At 7 o'clock, I'm doing the late shift. I can't get there until about 9, but we have a new Men's Shed regular venue and time, Wednesdays from 7 at the Casa de Lem cocktail bar. If you're in this area, come along. Some really nice blokes who are part of the Men's Shed. Bon dia, rapaziada from JMC, and Mike is in as well. Bon dia, Gumpers. How was Costco? By the way, I think a lot of friends here will have gone, Costco, what? Did he just say Costco? I haven't got a Bon Dia Daily deal with them. I do have a Bon Dia Daily deal with B-Rent, though. Let me also bring them onto the screen. That's our daily deal. 10% off rentals with B-Rent. You'll find them on our homepage. You can click through to B-Rent. I'm going to go straight there now. We'll have a look at some of their prices this morning, and also must let you know about this first aid course that's happening with our friend Jenny Lowe's here on the Silver Coast. Right, B-Rent, it's part of Benacar, of course, and there you go. They are a great couple of companies. I think they've got a bicycling company over there, a cycle store as well over in Benedita, but they are so professional in how they go about things, and it was lovely to see. One of the Gumpers here bought a car. We showed you the video of when it got sold, and a video it was made. And I saw the car being presented with a lovely big red ribbon on it at Benacar. This is their rental section, B-Rent. We can give you 10% off rentals there. And look, you can get a Fiat 500 for 10 euros a day there. How about that? And something bigger. Is that a 7-seater? That looks interesting. 80 euros. So you'll get your 8 euros off that. The Mitsubishi Space Star Automatico. There you go. That's a concern, isn't it, for some drivers, to not have a stick shift but have an automatic. Automatics or similar from 22 euros a day there. And just hit me up for the code. It is GMPT10. If you forget that, just drop me a line, 913-590-303 for B-Rent there. And I shall put let me just put the link to that in the chat in case that's perfect timing for you, or you want to bookmark it and squirrel it away. Villamora, I thought, Mr. S, you were up north for some reason. Are you learning Northern Portuguese? Is that why I think you're in the north and you often speak to us with a kind of northern vernacular? But Villamora, that's the Algarve, isn't it? My whole class, look, you're the hero now. My whole class benefited from my complaint. Very good. Well done. And, oh, okay, John, I got your message there. Fantastic. Let's just go over to Facebook now, to where Jenny was advertising her first aid course. I think that's everything I wanted to cover this morning on the Bon Dia Daily. Yeah, just this to tell you about then, if I may. First aid, talk about well-being news. You can't get more sort of in-the-moment well-being than a first aid course, really, can you? I'm reading here, due to popular demand, the second basic life support and first aid workshop. Now, many people will have done this as part of their work life, won't they? Being on a first aid course. I know I did that when I was in the UK. Join me, says Jenny Lowe's, an RGN, a registered nurse with the Ordem dos Enfermeiros. The Ordem, the Order of the Infirmaries, is that right? Certified BLS instructor and over 25 years of experience for another hands-on session that could save lives. This is on the 19th of February, 2025. Starts at 10, goes on till 1. Only 3 hours. You could make it a part of a weekend in Caldas da Rainha, couldn't you, where it takes place? Exact venue, TBC, to be confirmed. Cost a mere 35 euros per person. Includes an ebook and links to resources. Just 10 participants. So you get some decent attention on that. A small class size sounds good. Space is filled up fast last time, so book your spot now to avoid missing out. Why attend, she asks. Gain confidence in providing basic life support. That's BLS. I didn't know that, including CPR. Staying alive. Staying alive, staying alive. Is that how they teach it still, I wonder? With a training dummy, identify what you can't keep the training dummy. It's only for classroom purposes. Identify warning signs of heart attack, stroke, sepsis, and other emergencies. Hands-on practice with essential home health monitoring tools like blood pressure monitors and pulse oximeters. Oximeters. Navigate local healthcare in Portugal. Know when and where to seek help. Feel empowered to respond swiftly in critical, life-threatening situations. Whether you're a caregiver, parent, or simply want peace of mind, this workshop equips you to act decisively when every second counts. And I will put the details on how you can get in touch with Jenny into the chat right now. Perfect timing right there, 20 past 8. And time to talk to John, João Ernesto de Norte, to give him his correct title. Before I do that, let me just make sure those details are there for Jenny Lowe's, and to say hello to Pam, who's with us. Bon dia to you, Pam. I used to live in Covilla. There you go. And JMC, by the way, if anyone's looking for a Tigra, that's a 2-seater diesel. Why not? Can you give us a nice Gumper deal on that, JMC? How much do you want for it? And you can at least send me a few photographs, can you? And we'll see if we can help you with that. Let's give him a nice big round of applause. And bring him onto the screen. João Ernesto de Norte, everybody. Olá, bom dia. Tudo bem, John?
Tudo bem? Bom dia, Portugal.
Bom dia, Portugal, from you. And I've got lots to share from your camera, basically. You sending me some great stuff just recently. Herons, pastel de natas, and intrepid weather reporting. Before we do all of that, we did speak to you a little while ago about your trigeminal neuralgia. And you've had, I think, some great attention on that, and things seem to have improved. Am I right?
Yes, very much so. I was prescribed Tegretol by my neurologist, and it's this eye. And I have had no pain since. So
fantastic!
It's fantastic, yeah.
Yeah, what a great result.
Medicine.
Yeah, we could see you were in some discomfort last time. You manfully joined us, and it was clearly awkward for you. What a great relief to have.
Is that very interesting? I could get deep in the weeds with everybody in terms of the chemistry that goes on. I actually did the research. Figure out, well, what actually is going on in the process. So
what does happen? Because I think that's one of the greatest things about modern medicine is pain relief, isn't it? Analgesia. A mate of mine wrote a fantastic poem, Matt Harvey. He was actually at our wedding. He was our poet in residence for our wedding, and he's written some brilliant poems. He was the resident poet for the Wimbledon tennis one year as well, and wrote a poem called Thwack about the tennis. But he also wrote a participation poems like, what do we want? Pain relief. When do we want it? Now. And it was all about analgesia and the wonderful words in pharmaceutical circles about pain relief. And
Tegretol, it's not a pain reliever.
Okay. Go on. What is it?
Well, I mean, it does relieve this specific type of pain, but what it is a medicine that targets the neurotransmitters in your brain. There's what they call a sodium channel and a calcium channel, and these various different things. And it targets specifically the sodium channel and reduces its transmission. It's used in larger doses with people with epilepsy. It's diagnosed diagnosed, or what's the word that when a doctor gives
there's a diagnosis and a prognosis.
Well, when they give the prescription.
The prescription
for people that have bipolar disorder.
Oh, right.
Because it helps to even out the transmission of certain neural channels.
Incredible.
And so it also stimulates it's associated with sleep, or with not, my brain's not working. Maybe it's
they've got something for that, John. They'll have something for that as well. Not Viagra, JMC, by the way. No.
Not the sleep. It's not sleep. It's a pleasure sensor.
Dopamine receptors.
Dopamine, not
serotonin.
Not with a D. It's with an S.
Serotonin.
Serotonin. Yeah. So it's a serotonin enhancer, and so that helps to even out the chemicals and stuff when you have bipolar.
Mm.
And so in very small doses, in my case, so it inhibits that sodium channel, and it promotes the serotonin, and so it has some very positive side effects besides
Yes.
the pain
Wow.
inhibition or inhibition.
Yes.
It also makes you feel a little bit better, but with the serotonin. So
How about
anyway,
that? How
yeah,
about that?
so
That's incredible.
yeah, I only take one pill a day, so it's
Yeah.
really just I have a pill splitter, and so I just take one in the morning, half a pill in the morning, and half a pill in the evening.
Yeah. Incredible.
And so, yeah, at the very lowest, and the prescription progression from the neurologist was that if that didn't work, then you can do one pill in the morning, one pill in the afternoon. If that still doesn't work, then you do 3 times a day. But right from the get-go, with the smallest dosage, it disappeared instantly. So,
So pleased for you.
there was a day where I actually forgot to take my the pill in the evening, and I was still fine. So that was with one half a pill, and so after some time, I'll have to reschedule an appointment with her and see what she says. But she did say that after several months, we try to wean me off of it altogether and see if it doesn't come back. So that would be great. So maybe it's all just a fancy
or placebo.
Yeah, placebo. But
how about that? That could also be true. That could also be true. But you've had some great attention by the sound of it, and a wonderful result, because you really looked like you were in agony last time. Well, not last time. Well, when we spoke to you about it.
Yeah, it was very painful.
Yeah.
And like I had said, it had evolved into this. It's one thing when it just sort of strikes you randomly, but when it's when you know it's going to happen, anytime you speak or chew or anything, that's where it's like, oh,
right.
It's hard to.
Yes, and that's provides so much of the pleasure in our lives, doesn't it? Is communicating and eating. How awful to have.
Yeah, and it's interesting. The other things that she says that in your diet that help to or are bad in terms of the myelin sheath in your brains and the neural. So if you are not getting enough vitamin B12, if you are taking too much, there's there's the good. What is it? The from fish oil, the
omega-3s.
Omega-3, that's good. But if you're having too much omega-6s, which I forget what you can get that from, but omega-6 in your diet helps to. I shouldn't use the word help, but helps to deteriorate the myelin sheath. And there are various other things.
Really, I didn't realize that. Okay, that's interesting.
There's various other things in your diets that cause the myelin sheaths in your neurotransmitters to deteriorate, things that can lead to Alzheimer's and other kinds of brain issues. So it's very interesting reading.
Isn't it just? It sounds like you've been doing your research, John. Hugh from Visu is recommending vitamin D as well. And
yes, I do take that regularly.
Yeah, boost your immune system with some vitamin D. And a side conversation going on. Thanks to Pam, who tells us that Emma was great last week. Her pronunciation masterclass starts tonight. Oh, okay. I thought that was last night, but thank you very much, Pam. If anyone was thinking of signing up, there's a couple of places, and we can mention GMP, and you'll get a 10% discount on that. It's only €75 anyway. I think for 8 classes.
GMP.
Mention GMP.
I'm mentioning it. GMP.
All right, you can stop mentioning it now, but you get 10%, John. You don't get 20% because you mentioned it twice. And who is Emma? Yes, she was on last week. She was a great guest last week. Yeah, thank you, Pam. Language lessons, she was on as a guest last week on the show. Mr. S saying, there's nothing basic concerning the SIPL, much less with a recording incongruent with the answer. I think he's still a bit upset about this. And he recommends, does Mr. S, Portuguese with Leo for accents, grammar, connected speech, and free content. And Pete, good to hang out with you last night, Pete, on the Wine Club. Makes the comment, adds the comment, get someone local if you want the dialect spoken near you. Now, you're learning. How are your classes going, John?
Quite well up until just yesterday.
Oh, what happened yesterday?
Well, our teacher, her name is Sylvia, but her dream has been to get a permanent position as a primary school teacher.
Oh, right.
So we showed up at class yesterday, and she wasn't there. So Francesca, the administrator, very nice young lady, explained to us, and to Sylvia's credit, she did talk to some of the other classes, but our class she was already teaching, but it's a situation where if she had turned down this was the second offer she'd received, and so if she had turned that down, they take her off their lists, and no longer be eligible. So she had to take it. She lives in Braga, which is, half an hour away. So this was kind of an ideal situation for her to be in a primary school situation as a full-time regular teacher in Braga. And so she took the opportunity, and we don't have her anymore. So
we lost your beloved tutor.
We lost our teacher, and we were doing so well. We only had a month left of classes. So to finish A2, we finished A1, and now we're doing A2. We had a different teacher for A1, Augusta, and Sylvia was our teacher for A2. But we were certainly deep in the weeds with all the different past perfect and past imperfect, and learning about all those things. So future tense, all the tenses, and she was very good about reinforcing proper pronunciation and things. So.
Yeah. Oh, it sounds like you are making great progress. Well, good luck to her, and hopefully you'll get a good replacement. Get through that. When's your exam, John?
Exam?
Do you have an exam at the end of it, or is it a continuous assessment, isn't it? So I don't think you actually have a final.
Yeah, it's more or less a continuous assessment. I don't know. In the previous A1, we had a couple of exams, I guess a midterm and a final, but they were usually both open book and open notes.
Nice.
So that's
open phone as well. Okay.
So that was fine, but we have yet to get the certificates for the A1, but I understand they've been received, but they haven't been signed yet, so we're waiting for that.
Wow, that's probably a very special moment for the principal, is it not? To get the fountain pen out and sign all the certificates. How lovely! How very official.
Hey, I do have, unless there's something else you wanted to talk about, I do
want to talk to you about herons and pastel de natas and your coastline a bit further north, but carry on.
Okay. Well, this is something very interesting that I learned as a serendipitous event with our water. So we have, in our house, we have both an outdoor borehole and we have indoor city water. Well, the city water was turned off, or was off. It wasn't working. I thought I'd broken something, but so no toilets, no tap water, no nothing.
Yeah,
so
I know the feeling.
That's unfortunate. Maybe it'll be magically turned on. It happened before, and it magically turned on in a couple of hours. So we waited and waited, and nothing. So now we're down to using a bucket to flush the toilet, and because we could still fill a little bit a bucket with a low flow from the outdoor borehole. Nice. The borehole was still working, but just didn't have the pressure otherwise would have. So I called our text and got in touch with our plumber who knew our and so he came out straight away, and he was looking at the system, and he told me that the water had been turned off at our meter on the street, and he was showing me that, and he said there could be some public works going on. And so that's why we didn't have water. But he asked if we had the borehole and said yes. And so he said, let me show you a trick. And so we have, so outside, so this is for all of you out there in the audience that have a borehole and city water system.
Yeah.
So we have a tap in the back garden. We have a tap in the front garden, and we also had a tap on the side garden, side to the patio garden. And so what we did was he took the garden hose hooked up from the front garden, and we took it to the middle tap and connected it tap to tap, and connected it. So now both taps are connected to each other.
Cool. I know what's happening here.
Yeah,
yes.
And turn them both on, which pressurizes the system.
Yes.
And because of that, the city water's turned off. And so since it's a pressurized system, the only other source that would be supplied would be the borehole water. And magically everything's working.
Fantastic. Good for you.
So it's a wonderful bypass to when the city water's turned off to use your borehole water, of course, temporarily. And as people know, it may not be potable, so you can have it tested and things, but we were using it for showers and washing up and that sort of thing.
I see. And potable as in drinkable, safe.
Yeah, you can have it tested. There's places where you can have it tested or whatever.
That's very interesting. Which means you could just use your own water and not have to use the city water, but you'd still have to pay presumably to be connected.
Yeah,
you just use less of it, right? Okay, very interesting. All right, there's a water hack for you from João de Norte there from the north, and a very helpful and knowledgeable plumber as well by the sound. Well, good luck with that, John.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
Yeah, I got cut off. I had an invoice situation where they sent me a reminder, which I don't remember receiving, after I'd gone on to electronic and not letter bills. And they're very, very quick to come and turn it off. So I was in a similar situation, but no borehole to connect to. So hopefully your civic situation is sorted out soon. Yes, it's all about the water with you this morning, it would appear.
And they never did come back and turn it on. So I don't know if it was somebody doing some municipal work, or maybe it was some prankster just decided to come in, because I can remove the panel. So maybe the 8-year-old boy next door just went by and turned it off. So anyway, I turned it back on. And
so it is back on now. All is well.
Yeah. So to reverse it, of course, you turn off the taps.
Yeah.
Take off the hoses, go back and turn on the
Good
city.
to know. Somebody will remember that one day, and thank you for that at some time in the future. Let's stay with water then, and this incredible footage you took for us, which is a nice treat for if you're in the north of Portugal.
It's your intrepid weather reporter reporting from the beaches of Coreso, north of Viana. There were reports of 7 to 8 meter waves. Just came to check out if that was the case. If so, they're breaking way out there. So they definitely could be. Signing off for now.
Were you out there with your guarda-chuva there, John?
Yeah, you could see from the wind. It was.
Yeah, I was wondering if that was a.
So I was one-handed with my camera.
Amazing. Yeah. Tell us where that is.
That's Praia de Careço,
okay.
Which is north of Viana, several kilometers. So there's the major trunk road that goes up to Ankara, and there's little cobblestone roads that you can take off and go to the actual coastline, and there's a fantastic boardwalk and beach area, and it's connected with the coastal Camino de Santiago.
Very nice.
And so the boardwalk. So these pilgrims are, they walk the boardwalk. Can you imagine? You're doing your pilgrimage, and you just have this beautiful,
how lovely
beach, boardwalk that you're walking along.
Yeah.
And so there's a favorite cafe that we go to for breakfast or lunch with a wonderful Pequeno
Almoço, yeah.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, for breakfast. So yeah, with everything included, 11 euros for coffee, sumo de orange, bacon and eggs.
Oh, stop it. Right, we're going to be talking more about food as well with Tony. I'm going to be starving by the end of this. Okay. That sounds lovely. Praia de Careço, did you call it?
Praia de Careço, yeah.
Very nice. Okay, staying with the aquatic theme. Now, a little while ago, you were worried about the all those fish in your pond. That's been sorted out now, isn't it? There.
We're down. We had four. We had 4 of the large original goldfish, which produced another 20 at least children, offspring.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we lost 2 of the larger ones. So we're down. We didn't lose all of them. We still have 2. And I think we have at least maybe 15 still of the large.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So now, there's 17. There was 25. So we now. Yeah.
But the circle of life and the balance of nature seems to be holding sway in your back garden, and the heron also getting fed.
Figured out I needed to give them some. So normally during the summertime we have 4 large lilies that bloom and provide lots of shelter. But during the winter, of course, the lilies die off, and there's no shelter for the goldfish. Yes. So I figured I got a piece of tile that I was able to. Reposition in there, so now they have a place to hide under.
Can you imagine being a goldfish and the big beak of doom coming into the water?
Exactly. Where do you go?
Terrifying. John, we need to move on to Tony, but before you go, if I'd spoken to you before and said spoon or not spoon, you'd have probably said not spoon, but you tried it, and I think
I tried it. I liked it. Yes. Yes. I'm a spoon convert. Yeah.
Wow. All right. So,
food texture bothers me. So I couldn't really eat natas regular, but when I tried it with the spoon, so I eat the gooey bit first, and then I have this, nice, soft, moist crust. So it's like, that's perfect.
It's a result. It's a result from this outrage around the pastel de nata. It's a result for you. Thanks, John. Great to see you in fine fettle as well. So we'll see you again next month. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Carl.
Cheers, John. All right. All the best. Love to the north, to Pam and to the north. And we'll see you again soon, mate. Take care. Bye for now. There he goes. There's João de Norte. Before Tony joined us, and we'll find out if it's moist in the Minho or not, because it's been very damp up there just recently. It's all about the food and the wine for Tony, if you get, well, as well as the houses, of course. But I think in that order, wine, food, and houses, right? We'll check with the man directly in just a moment. But look what he's been up to. He's going to be talking about the positive power of connecting with your local community. Here's a little bit of a taster on that, literally.
Next dish will be pork loin.
And music as well, of course. Hey, Tony time, man in the Minho. Is it moist or not?
It's humid.
Okay.
A little moisty for a Tuesday morning. It's a little moisty for me, but
how are you? Tudo bem?
Tudo bem, Carl. Hi, everyone.
Excellent. Good to see
And
you.
I love it'll get up to. I love when you're doing the weather forecast. It reminded me you should have been like that Italian. Remember in the TV where they started taking off their clothes. I'm just giving you thoughts and ideas.
What? No, I don't remember that. What TV channel is this?
They start stripping. It's in Italian. It was in Italy. They had it here in Portugal. Did you know that? It was Sic Radical. It's about 20 years ago, 25 years ago. And when it came to do the weather, they had the girl there, and then she just starts taking off her clothes. So I can imagine you.
You've remembered that for some reason. You've remembered.
I'm giving you just some ideas. I think it'll make it very exciting, my friend.
I'll do it tomorrow, Tony. Tune in tomorrow and see me taking off my clothes. If it gets above 20, I'm going to go for it. Thank you for your encouragement. Heresy. Before we move on from that, I know you'll have a strong view on this, Tony. Are you a spooner? Do you like spooning? With the pastel de natas, of course.
Only, I like spooning, but in bed. That's about it.
Not in the nata in the nata situation.
No, I love the spooning. I mean, it's
Who
great.
doesn't?
You cuddle, you hug, especially when it's cold in the winter nights. Spooning definitely is the way to go.
Yeah, but then the argument of if you're the innie or the outie. But anyway, that's the least said about that.
The only thing good about the spoon when you're eating the pastel de nata is that you don't get yourself all gooeyed in your face. Exactly, you know what I mean. When you take a bite out of it, you take out of the spoon a little bit, But you know me, I like to just get right into it with my fingers. And,
get right in there. Yeah. Dan's not happy about it. Heresy. It's like eating a slice of pizza crust first. When you put it like that, I mean, there can't be anybody on this earth that eats the crust first of a pizza, right? That's the handle, isn't it? And you eat that last. But I'm sure there'll be notable exceptions that prove that rule. Excellent. Where were you in that lovely bit of footage there? And what was the food there that you were eating?
Well, I think I sent you one, and you got to show the rojões and the bloaters. Okay, it's sarrabulho. It's very well known up here in the north. You have it also. It's with the pig's blood, and they make it's an event. Okay, it was to help a community. That's what it's about. I get involved whenever they invite me. Oh, there you go. Yeah, we have some friends. Friends we helped move here. Some been here since October of last year. Some have been here 18 years. It was over 200 people.
Oh, wow. In the local community center, just piling
exactly. This is actually near a chapel. This is São João in Valença, which is in the Minho. And it's an area where they celebrate Saint Sebastian, the saint. And so they use when we do our Portugal experience tours, that association, they do a private event for us, just for the group.
Do they? Very good.
In the school, it was an old school, and the city hall gave them the school to create the association, and you keep the traditions alive for Portugal. You see the younger kids, generations. I'll confess something. I used to hate that stuff. I could never stand it.
Well, when you're a kid, being dragged along,
but it grows on you because it's part of your roots, and in the community. And then when you get invited, when people come to you and they hug you and they say, you are part of this family, of the association. Well, I don't. It doesn't matter. You are a part of, because it is. It's how you help you. Sometimes just being there, showing up, promoting it in the sense where inviting your friends. Hey, what are you doing? Because they don't get any funding or anything, and so all the machines are there, the clothing when they travel, etc. Maybe they get paid a little bit to do some spectacles, but you have to keep the traditions alive here in the local communities and support however you can, whether it's going to the old folks home, the retirement home. I remember my mom, before she didn't have to go to a home, the home came to her, all the services. But you know what, Carl? She had many friends there. And so she'd make it a point, like every 2 weeks, or at least, maybe twice a month, twice a month, says, you're taking me this. It was always on a Thursday for some reason. I said, Mom, well, then we do it on a Thursday every 2 weeks. And I still go. These are things that you continue the traditions, because that's where her friends were. Her friends were there, and she wanted to visit them and spend, a couple hours. And then, sometimes I would just leave her there, then go pick her up. And it was, when you get involved, you're listening to people that have been here, done that. Yeah. And they have so much wisdom, and you listen to them.
Yes.
And, and like what you talk about today in this social media age, everything is just too upfront and too quick. It's great that when people that still maintain the charm, the traditions together, doing these things. And it's about, you know what, Carl, the most important thing, and especially the friends that we took, they says, Antonio, this is the best. This is, we love community building, because they get to know the neighbors, they're living there. They're there. Right. So they get to know, in the same village, they get to know the neighbors. They get to know them. They're new. They didn't know that they're your friends. Oh, yeah, they just moved here. Really? Wow. Okay. And, next thing you know, we did this already. It's not the first time. Next thing you know, during the week, they have some bottles of wine, some eggs at the doorstep, and they're telling us. And it's about community. I just said to them, be ready to go pick some grapes and plant some potatoes then when they invite you. Because
yes, absolutely. The circle of life, the local community.
Barter,
absolutely love it. And I can imagine there will be old ladies there who do remember you as a kid. and say
for
and
sure.
give you a little bit of a chub on the cheek there, and say,
Yeah,
I remember
kinda,
you.
they're happy to see me. I'm happy to see them, and
Yes.
I've been here. I mean, I've been here now 24 years, but the truth is that I've been coming here since I had no choice up until the age of 18. When you're 5, 6, 7, 8, up until you're 18, you got to come here with your mom and dad. You
And
got to
that's
try.
when
They instill that, and that's the thing. At the time, you don't value that, Carl. You
Yep.
really don't value that. But it's important now. And I remember even, when it was distinct every Sunday, it was always customary to take my mom and my dad to the church. I didn't go. I'm afraid to walk in. I think the roof will cave in. So I said, Mom, you do all
water
the
will
praying
start
for me.
fizzing.
Me and dad are just here. You do all the praying for us, Mom. Okay. I think you're good with that. So, so then I go pick them up. We go have lunch, and then we go to this community festival, right? Like these little things like that, whether here or there. In the summer, there's more, of course, every single town has its own festival, but during the winter, they do these things so then they can raise money so they can whatever they need and rebuilding because they had to do it all
Yes.
imagine the old school, they rebuilt it. It's beautiful. And when you dance, it has the wooden floor, so it makes that sound, the echo. It is really nice.
Well, they've done a great job. It's owned, isn't it, by the community for the community. Absolutely.
This is actually not where the association's headquarters
Oh,
are at.
okay.
This is the head association is like real small. It fits, maybe, I don't know, 30 people, 40 people at the most or whatever. Just the whole folklore team or everybody that dances and plays, that alone is about 20 something people, 20, 30 people.
Well, should we have a look at them doing their thing? Let's have a look at them.
Oh yeah, well, that's only a treat. That's only a small little port, and then they're not dressed in their garb.
Oh, okay, but this is some music making with the people that Tony's talking about. I've heard you're pretty handy on the castanets, Tony, as well.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, even with my feet.
That's lovely. Yeah, that's what I've seen. I've been to a similar thing like that. A little food festival at a place called Val, just on the other side of the water here at Ponte De Lima. Very similar vibe, great food, the wonderful communal eating and cooking thing, and then the music afterwards. And a lot of the people who have been serving the food and making the food get on the instruments after when it's all done and party like that. Absolutely fantastic.
It's a nice family. It's a whenever they have these events, they're hosting something now for like Valentine's Day.
Oh, very nice.
Valentine's night. And I think it's the same thing. Like they have something. They're also and when it's all about people from there, instead of going out to dinner to some big fancy restaurant or anything like that, like you go here and you help the community too. I mean, give it once in a while. Like when they have it, they don't have that every single day. So when they have it, I think it just makes sense to be a part of it. People, I'm loved. I feel loved.
Yes.
Folklore. Yeah, Pamela. Oh, it's great. The folklore. Well, yeah, and then that's what it is when then they're not dressed in their outfits, right? Because those outfits, they were symbols of like when you used to work in the fields, right? And stuff. Background horizon. The water. I think this is quite disturbing. The people who go into a house and make sure all the paintings are level. I think that for those people, your background is a little bit worrying. That it's on purpose. It's on purpose. I don't want you to look. I don't want you to look at me. I want you to look at the background. I'm too. The background is prettier than me. It's on purpose.
Yeah, it's too much scrutiny, right?
You know me. I have always a logic for everything, right?
And very modest too. Well, Yeah, absolutely love it. Thank you for sharing that with us. We've got one more video, and we'll probably play you out with that. But just want to find out what's going on for you business wise. I'm sure things are still going sweetly up there in the north. A lot of interest and still some great bargains up there. What's going on, and when's your next tour? When can people come and join you and have some fun up there?
May 17th through the 24th.
Yeah,
and we added an extra day. Bom dia.
That's a
Bom
different
dia.
one. Antonio F is here as well this morning.
Yeah, olá, Antonio. Bom dia. May 17th to 25th, we had actually an extra day. Why? We don't want to miss anybody going to. We're going to be in Porto, so they don't have to fly out to. Usually, a lot of our friends come from the U.S. and Canada, so they have early morning flights. They're always on early morning flights. So instead of leaving like Saturday, like at 3 or 4 in the morning, they're going to stay an extra night in Porto, and we're going to go to the Douro Valley. And then going on, we're going to do an olive oil tasting, a wine tasting, pork tasting, one of the best restaurants in the Douro Valley. We're going to be there. And so we had and to stay in the extra night as well. So 17th to the 25th of May. And, we got a lot of great real estate, Carl, here now, everybody, we're doing some really great deals for land and building trust, people I know for many years. And I've always told them, instead of you building houses for other people, build houses for yourself and sell them. He finally listened up. Now he's investing in himself, in his business. That's what you need to do. I mean, and I says, when you work with one client at a time, no offense, his name is also Antonio, I'm sure you get bothered. By the time they start to build and they want to finish, everything's changed around. You build it how you want it, your standard. People want it, they buy it. Build it with quality, it sells. Because when you do it individually, my friend, it is a hassle. I don't know how builders do it. And that's why they get paid great, because they have to put up with people that changing their ideas and changing things and everything else, And so we have 26 brand new homes, 36 being built between Vila Nova de Cerveira and Valença. Prices starting at 235, brand new. Okay, some and turnkey, of course. Some starting. You're looking at anywhere between 235 and 350,000, 360K. And these are modern homes, big homes. 3 bedrooms, 3 baths, swimming pool, and so that's what we're doing. We finally got into we've always worked in exclusive, right? I don't want quantity. I want quality. I want the best builders. That's who I want to sell their product. Nobody else. I don't want it to keep it. You buy it. I don't even want to help you with it. I love sleeping great at night, because then when our buyers are extremely happy, when you have a builder and they commit, they say, I'm going to do this and this and this, and they complete it. Listen, when you're buying off plan, it's a lot of trust, right? And I think it's important to keep that in mind. And so that's what we're doing. Lots of great real estate, even in Viana do Castelo, this new development that we're doing there as well. So lots of homes.
What's going on? It sounds like the long game that I think, having known you for a little while now.
I have we are, as a brokerage, Carl, we're going to have in the next 10 years, we're going to have about 8 million euros of fees, compensation, of work to do. 8 million euros in 10 years. I can live with that. And I think, and that's we look at it a long plan. Even when we started out and we got started, it takes time.
Yes.
Yes, that's where I'm at.
And you've always recognized that as well, haven't you? And it's a long game.
It's a long game. You're in the relationship business. You're not in the transaction business. You're in the relationship business. That's what's going to keep you in any business. It's about people, relationships. You build like building a house, one little brick at a time. That's how you build the business, and it's sustainable. But you got to work with the quality people, have the right team around you. That way you could sleep good at night. Otherwise, you're going to be. I don't have any calls of people like problems. I have people telling me, "Hey, I'm going here. Come to lunch with us and stuff." That's life. I mean, we're professionals. But at the other end of it, we got to do. Anybody says, but our value proposition, our value add, Carl, I tell people this all the time. I tell my team all the time. Do you ever think that because a buyer needs you to buy the house and close on the house? You're absolutely wrong. People need you to help them move here, assimilate, because you got people moving from Porto to the Minho, from Lisbon, Portuguese as well. You're moving, right? And we're helping them. But more especially when it's a value-added service, the value that we can provide as a professional is about where people are going to be going, why they're going to be living there, giving them the best communities, the budgets for them to look for, and then you know what, getting them assimilated in the community. Going to learn English, etc. All these things, and these are the things that we add value, and that's where we've done from day one. 24 years ago, we keep doing it, Carl. And
that's coming together, Tony. I'm feeling it, man. I'm feeling it. It's all coming together, and it's all working towards your retirement in Panama. Only kidding. He's going to be up there in the north. He's going to be at the boys.
No, not going anywhere. Not going anywhere.
No, I know that. And we'll play one more video. Thank you for these because they've been a real joy to watch. A bit more. Make a note. There's some, I think, a wine recommendation coming up from Tony. He knows what he's talking about with the wine. Great to chat with you as ever. Have a great day up there. Great week, and we'll see you again in a month's time, Tony. Unless you got a final message, I'm putting your website address in there. That's how people can get in touch with you. You've got a final message before we play the last video?
Yes. Portugal. Don't come if you don't want to fall in love.
Woohoo!
No such thing as fiance. I said it before.
And this is a special treat from our friends here, Rancho São Julião, that they provided. Flor de Cola from the Douro Valley, 17 and a half of volume. Wow, delicious. Can't wait to try it. I can't tell you yet if it's good or not. You'll have to see the second part of this video. And here in Rancho São Julião, a get together with friends, having traditional sarrabulho, okay, to start. And this is rojões with the bolotas, okay? This here, delicious to the bout.
How was that wine, Tony?
It was delicious. You know, that wine from the Douro Valley, 17 and a half percent. You know, there's that's almost like you're drinking a port wine. It's borderline right there, you know.
Yes. Yeah, so good time had, Boyle. Thank you, mate.
Yeah, let's see how the friends there says, you know what, they had the regular wine, but they had one special wine for me. You know what I mean? Like all these little perks, these things. You know, how can you not feel loved, right, Carl? How can you not feel the love?
Yeah, don't touch that one. That's for Antonio. He's going to be arriving in just a minute. Fantastic. We're going to hop across the border. We're getting an update from Michael Heron. Cheers, Tony. Thank you, John. Thanks, everybody. See you again tomorrow.
Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the new podcast that I'm happy to announce, Good Morning Spain. Thank you to Carl Munson and Good Morning Portugal for helping me set everything up and sponsor it. I'm really excited. I'm really looking forward to sharing with you new content about Spain, how it is to live here as an immigrant or expat, however you want to call it. You know, we have to be inclusive here, so we shouldn't really associate something like this with class. So expat, immigrant, whatever you are, we're delighted to have you here on the show. We're here to talk to you about everything related to Spain, whether you want to study here, work here, live here, retire here, whatever it is, we have you covered. We're going to have some amazing guests on. We're going to give you all the information you need, and we're going to have a lot of fun along the way. So please make sure you subscribe, and we look forward to seeing you on the next live show soon. Thank you very much. All the best. Ciao, ciao.